Today I want to talk to you about the difference between being a leader and a leaner. I'm Patrick David, and today I want to talk to you about one of the most frustrating things in leading an organization. If you're a leader yourself, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. You know, in anywhere you look at, in any business, you'll always get two different kinds of people, leaners and leaders. And have you ever met somebody before when you meet with them for the first time and you walk away saying, this person is so impressive. I am so impressed with this person. They are so amazing. They can do so well. They can do such great things. And then you ask yourself the real question, but how come they haven't they've been in a workforce for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. Are they just a good talker? Are they just good at selling themselves? But what is it? Well, you know, leadership is something that very few people actually see the work of a leader. A leader is not necessarily the stuff you see on, out there when everybody's recognizing them, they're getting a trophy. Leadership is really what you do behind the scenes. And a lot of times, behind the scenes, leaders know the difference between leaders and leaners. Okay, there's a lot of people, majority of any organization you're in, majority of them are leaners. And a few of the people in an organization are leaders. And a lot of times these leaders inspire the leaners to eventually become leaders. Every leader was once a leaner, leaning on a leader to learn so they can duplicate it. But I'll tell you, every time I hire somebody and I bring somebody and I give them a leadership position in the company, anything I've done over the years when I hire somebody, and I put them in a position where they're leading, I tell them, I say, listen, you are the CEO of this department. I'm expecting you to lead this department. I'm expecting you to perform in this department. I believe you can pull it off, but I want to see you win in this department. You're the CEO of the department, so I want you to lead. I don't want you to lean on everybody all the time, waiting for orders to be given. I want you to use your creative thoughts to create things in this department. That's what I want to see with you. And a lot of times what happens to people is they'll look at this and they'll say, well, I'm a leader because I'm in the 20 percentile. Remember this. So this is a tricky thing I'm going to tell you. The 80-20 rule, you know how they say 80% and then 20% are leaders? Well, once you become the 20%, a lot of people who are in the 20% of that 100%, they stay in that 20%. But a leader of that 20% says, well, wait a minute, am I the 80% of that 20% or am I the 20% of that 20%? Then that 20% of people, there is a 20% of that 20%. Then when they lead to the next level, even in that small group, there are people that lean on others because everybody's a leader. Then that 20% says, am I the 20% of that 20% or the 80% of that 20%? I know it's kind of confusing, but a leader is striving constantly to move up and to be the 20%, to be the 1%, to move up to be the smaller leader that's taking on more responsibility from the top, to move more leadership positions from the top. So eventually he gets to the top and the person above him says, you know what, you can do a better job than I am. You take over my position because you've been leading for such a long time. I'm proud of you. This position is now yours. But it'll only happen to those that have made a decision and committed to leading, not constantly leaning. There is a big difference when you look at your organization and your people you think about. When you mark them down, it's very good exercise to write and say, this guy's a leaner. He seems like a leader. Everybody thinks he's a leader, but he's truly a leaner. He is still leaning. When is this guy going to start leading? My challenge to you is, in every single category of 80-20 you get to, you be the leader of the 20%, not the leaner in the 80%. It's my message of the week to you, and please be sure to subscribe to this channel and comment on the bottom.